This is a Learning Commons instructional video. This video is of a workshop on APA formatting.
Well, welcome to our APA session. I'm excited that all of you could attend today. My name is Tina Nygren, and we're originating from the Educational Technology Center. I work in the lab here in New Richmond. For all technology questions about APA, this is the location that you would want to go. And if you're at Ashland or Rice Lake, you're going to want to go to your ETC and have one of the ladies help you up there. This is Adam Nelson. He works in the Learning Resource Center. He's going to discuss on how to actually navigate through our web page and to get to the resources that you need to be successful writing an APA paper. So I'm going to give it over to Adam here, and he's going to get started on all the helpful links and great videos that he has created for the entire college. So here's Adam.
Thanks. Is everyone logged into our computer and everything okay? I'm seeing lots of nods. Okay, first, everyone, if you want to start by opening up a web browser, I'm going to show you how to find the library webpage and how to find an online guide to APA. So you can see I'm just going to open up Firefox and go to WITC's main page. And that's witc.edu. Once you're on the main page, you can scroll down to the bottom. And in the bottom of every WITC page is a little link for the library. This will bring you to the Learning Resource Center's main page, the library page. Over on the left-hand side, where all the gray boxes are, you'll need to click on Library Services. Once you click on Library Services, you see an option for APA formatting. And that'll bring you to our online guide. How's everyone doing with finding the APA guide? Good?
New Richmond, we're good? Okay.
How about Rice Lake, Superior, and Ashland? You guys finding it okay? After you click on Library Services, on the left-hand side, look for APA formatting. And that's going to bring you to our online guide. And while we're going through, if anyone has any questions, just go ahead and speak up, just yell louder than I am, and then we can go ahead and answer any questions. And while we wait, just to make sure everyone finds this okay, I will mention all the videos from these workshops, including this one, are available online. So if you missed this workshop, or if you just want to watch it later because it was so much fun, you can always go back onto the library webpage and watch over it again. Everyone good? Okay. Now this guide I created over the summer, and this is just to try to help everybody be on the exact same page for APA. Your instructor may require you to do a little less than this, so by all means check with them whenever you have an assignment. But if they want you to do APA to the letter, then that's how this guide is set up. To kind of show you how it works, it's broken up into a menu system just because there's a lot of information to cover. So I'm just going to click on Before You Start. And it expands into a little menu, and you guys can see the new options that are available there. I'm not going to read through everything on this page. I would hate to ruin your bedtime reading later. But the Before You Start section here, I just have the basics of APA clearly spelled out. That's on a regular white sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11. It's black font. It's 12 times New Roman, double space, 1-inch margins. It's a lot of stuff right there, and later Tina's going to actually go through on Word and show you guys how to set up your page to be set for APA like that, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. Then I have a list of the parts for APA formatting. There's a title page, which Tina's going to show you how to make later, along with an abstract. Now the abstract, some instructors require, some don't. I do have instructions on how to create one on this guide, so if you do need to create one, it's on here, but we're not going to talk a lot about it because most of the time you won't have to do one. And then you have a main body of text, and then you have a reference page, and we'll show you how to make those later as well. Now throughout the guide here, you're going to see little links. Here it says, please watch video part 1. I do have 3 videos set up to walk you through how to format APA, how to set up Word to do all the document for you, how to do citations, and how to do quotations. If you click on those little links, they're going to bring you down to the bottom of the guide here, and that's right where those videos are. And they're right on the website, so you can go ahead and you can watch them. You can follow along with it with Word later on if you need to, without having to go to any other pages. So you can see from the other menu options here, I have margins, how to set up your margins, how to set up your font, and how to set up your paragraphs. Each menu, if you click on it, expands, and there's both a text of how to do it, step-by-step instruction, and then there's step-by-step pictures as well. I'm more of a visual learner, so I have lots of pictures and videos on this. And you can see it's not too bad to follow through. There's links to the videos on which video will show you how to do what's talked about in the steps, so you can go through on a live video as well. But later in the workshop, like I mentioned, he's going to show you guys how to do all that. If you click on the different parts of the APA paper, again, just talks about step-by-step on how to do the formatting for that. One section I want to spend a little time with you guys on is the citation section. So if everyone wants to click on citations and look at that menu, this menu is a little different here. Now as you're typing an APA paper, you have to do what's called citing. You have to tell your reader where you got your information from. The point of that is so if the reader finds what you're saying very interesting, maybe they want to go look up and read the whole article themselves. So you need to give them what's called an in-text citation as well as a reference page citation. The in-text citation, I have an example up here, and this is the type of citation that's right in your paper. So while you're typing out every paragraph about what you want to say about the research you've done, you're going to put in a citation at the end where each bit of information came from. Now the 2 different ways to do this, if you're mentioning the source itself while you're typing, so like we say, my name is Adam Nelson, so if I say Adam Nelson said this in the awesome workshop, you then just have to put a year that it happened. If you're just saying I attended a really awesome workshop and I learned this, you then have to have my last name, comma, and then the year. And that's true for 90+% of in-text citations. I'm not going to go into it a whole lot, but while you're typing your APA paper, fill those in wherever you think you need them. And then you can stop into the LRC or the ETC and we can give you a hand if your citations end up being a little bit different. If you don't know how to do it, don't skip it, just do your best attempt. If we have to go through your paper with you later and you didn't put any in, it's going to take hours to find all the correct spots for them to go. If you just type in the wrong citation, it'll take 10 minutes to fix. So it's definitely worth putting them in, whether you know how to do it or not exactly, and we can work on it from there. The absolute most fun that you are going to have from APA is doing your reference page. This has the most little rules, it has to be formatted just right, and it's a lot of fun. I have examples here of how to format like a generic journal, or how to do a generic book, and this is just kind of to get you started. Again, you can look at this, fill it in the best you can for your individual paper, and then you can stop in the LRC for help. You'll want to do your best guess at this. Again, it's easier to fix it rather than to have to put it in later. But what's different about this menu is each one of these has a little OWL next to it, and that links you to another website from Purdue Online Writing Lab, and it's a really, really helpful website, so I just copied over to there. If you click on the little OWL link, it'll bring you to their web page and show you examples of all the different ways to do citations for journals, books, etc. by just clicking on the little OWL that's next to each one of those headings. So I just clicked on the journal one, and here we have the same kind of basic setup that I have on my page, but then they have actual examples. They have articles in journal pagination, how to do an article out of a magazine or out of a newspaper since they are different, how to do a letter to the editor. It's just a really great website because they have actual examples. You can just copy your information into their example. I'll go ahead and click on the book one here, and it brings me right to the book section. How to do an edited book without an author, how to do a translation book, and all kinds of stuff. If you don't want to keep flipping back and forth between the websites, on the left-hand side of their website, they have a menu set up, and you can just click on whichever type of reference you're looking for then. So I clicked on books. Let's say I did my book one, and now I know I have some journal ones ahead of me. I can just click on this articles and periodicals and go right back to that page. I think someone's mic is right by a printer. If you guys could go ahead and mute your mic, please. So that's kind of a quick look at that. The last section here is of references. And that works the same as the other ones. There's step-by-step instructions, pictures and videos and everything. So I just wanted to point out that in the citation section, I have one example of each, which you can click on that little OWL link, and you get hundreds of examples of all the different types of citations. How's everyone doing so far? I'm getting yays and cheers in Richmond. How about Ashland, Superior, Rice Lake? You guys doing okay? They need to move their mic?
Mute it.
Oh, mute it?
Yeah, you can mute it.
Okay. I can't hear. Sounds okay. Okay. So while we're still on the formatting page, there's two more things I want to show you guys. One, after you've read through everything on this, you're going to be experts. But if you want, at the very top, there's a click here for a download handout. And that's a little handout I made that's basically a checklist. It's two-sided, and the front page here has all the little parts and the formatting you have to do on each section of an APA paper. You can go ahead and you can print that off, and you can go down bullet by bullet and check off to make sure you have that done. On the second page, I have the same examples of how to do a generic book, journal, those different references, so you can have a little refresher with you right there on the page. And that handout is a regular PDF handout, so you can download it on any computer, you can print it off. You can also open it on a cell phone, a laptop, a tablet, computer, anything. So if you want to just save an electronic copy on your cell phone to always have with you, because who doesn't, you can do that easy. And down at the bottom here, if you want, this is what we're going to be using later on, so I do suggest everyone go ahead and open this up towards the bottom. Down at the bottom in bold, I have a little sentence with a hyperlink for Purdue's Online Writing Lab's sample paper. Go ahead and click on here. This brings you back to Purdue's page, and here they have a full APA formatted paper along with notes. So you guys they tell you how they did each section and remind you about what you have to do and how to do a certain format and that kind of stuff. If you want, you can go ahead, you can download it, you can view it on this page. It's a great little helpful reminder, but as we go through the APA workshop today, we're going to keep referring back to the sample paper, so you might want to keep it open. As you learn how to set up Microsoft Word, we're going to go ahead and start typing the actual paper here that you see, so you can see step by step how yours is comparing to make sure everything's going okay. So that is a quick look at the APA guide. I think we're ready to start doing actual Word.
Well, thanks, Adam. Once you've used all the great tools that Adam has put together on our website, we're actually going to have to apply this to a Word document. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the sample paper on the Produce site, and I'm going to actually format it. I'm going to go step by step so you can actually see how that process is. So the first thing that you're going to want to do if you want to follow along and actually create this paper while I actually do it is we want to open up a Word document. Once you actually open up a Word document, you're going to notice that the font default comes up as Calibri. The first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to change that. So to do that is you're going to click the little font arrow key down on the lower right hand corner. Once you do that, now you're going to choose Times New Roman. So you can scroll down, type it in. We're still waiting? Okay. We have a few folks that are still trying to get Word open, so I'm going to hang tight. Going back to Adam's APA Quick Guide, it's really a great handout. I use it actually just to refer to all the detailed information to actually put your APA paper together. So like he was talking about previously, we want to make sure that all our margins are going to be set to 1 inch. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to show you how to actually put a running head into your paper and also put in a page number. Sometimes when you're actually building your paper, when you actually put in your running head, Word likes to sometimes not be consistent. So I'm going to show you a way that I've actually created that has worked every single time, and it's really quite easy. So make sure that if you have a paper or a pen handy to write down the process to actually put your page number in. So to back up, I think everybody's in Word now. Are we all okay? Okay. So to back up, what I did is we need to set our font right away. Like I mentioned before, Calibri is our default font and it's at 11 points. We want to make sure that it's at 12 points. So you can either do it up above here, or you can actually click on the font tab to go into a more advanced menu. The reason why I want you to go into advanced menu is because we can set the font as default for this actual document. So it will stay consistent throughout the entire document. Okay? So the first thing that you're going to do on top here is you're going to type in Times New Roman. Once you do that, you're going to change the size of the font to 12. And then down below here, you're going to see the tab that says Set as Default. So you want to click that. And it says, as all documents based on normal .tom template, nope, we want to do it for this document only. So make sure that the top one is selected and click OK. Once you do that, now we need to make sure that the margins are going to be set correctly. So the way that you're going to do that is you're going to go to the Page Layout tab. Now don't feel that you're going to have to remember everything that I'm showing you right now, because Adam created screenshots of all these different processes, but at least this is going to show you as we go along just a hands-on approach on to actually do it. So as you can see, when I click on the page layout, you can see that the under page setup, you're going to want to click on the little drop-down menu. Once you do that, you can see the listing of all your different margins. So the top is 1, the bottom is 1, left and right. So you want to make sure that those are set. So again, you just click OK. So once you do that, now we have the font set and we actually have our margin set. The next thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that we get our spacing correct, because it has to be double spaced. Now Word has an option that they will put an extra line in between paragraphs And we want to make sure that we click that because APA does not want that. It wants it to be consistently double spaced throughout the entire paper. Now to do that, you're going to go back to the Home tab, and again you're going to click on the Advanced menu, and you can see right here under line spacing, it's already set as double. Generally it's not set as that, it's set as multiple by default under Word. So under here, under the spacing options, you're going to want to click this that says don't add space between paragraphs of the same style. So you will click that and also click OK. So now we're pretty much set to get going on our paper. Now the question is, people always say, okay, how do I get my running head into my header into my paper? The easiest way to do that is basically you could see where your margins is set up. It's grayed out on your ruler. If you click above where the white space is, and if you double click fast, it's going to bring you into your header. Okay? So since we're going to be using Purdue's running head as an example, oh, okay, that's a great question. Why did that go out all of a sudden? Okay, my XGA just went out and I need to find out why here. Sorry about that. It's a little touchy. To actually, if you do not have the ruler displayed when your document is actually up and running on Word, the way to actually do that is you're going to click on the View tab. Once you click on the View tab, you're going to see that you have options. You can have different options. You can see grid lines, ruler, or navigation pane. Just make sure that the ruler is checked, because then you can see all your margin settings and such on your document. Okay? So, to go back to the paper that we're going to be creating, I'm now going to go back to the Home tab. You can see my cursor is set for center right now, and that's incorrect. So what we want to do is make sure that it is going to be justified to the left. So you want to click on that icon right there. Once you do that, you're going to be typing in upper and lower case running head. And then you're going to place a colon. Now, under the Design tab, you're going to want to make sure before you actually enter in your first page of your header is that you click on this tab right here that says different on first page, because APA header is going to be different on your title page versus the body of your paper. Okay, so make sure that you actually click that. And I'm going to have to go back and re-enter in that information. Press colon, and then all in caps is going to be your title. Yep, just type something just so you are familiar. Running head, yes, upper and lower case. I'm going to let everyone get caught up here. I've worked with many students on putting in their headers in their paper, and I've also helped them quite frequently getting in the page number. I've ran into problems by using the Word default, entering in, using their menu to actually put in the page number. So I did a little bit of an investigation, and I found the easiest way to do it is, now since the cursor is going to be right at the end of your running head, what I would like you to do is hit the tab button one time, determining on the size of your title. You may have to actually press it twice. Okay? And then I found that there's a quick key to put in a page number, and what you're going to do is you're going to press Control F9. What's going to happen now is you're going to see these little tiny brackets. And you're basically going to write in code to tell Word to put in the page number. Okay? I haven't had any problems with anybody using this method. So I really find that it's effective putting in the page number. So now you're going to type in the word page. Once you type in the word page, what you're going to do is you're going to right click in between the brackets. And you're going to see a menu come up that says different various things. What you're going to want to click on is update field. And you're going to left click on that. Once you do that, as you can see, your page number is now put into your paper. Okay? Now I have a lot of questions. Students say, well, how do I get out of, my header? How do I get into the body of my paper? Basically, all you have to do is just double click in the middle of your page into the white space past the header line. And now your header is in, your page number is now in. To double check your work, if you want to make sure that your page number has actually gone down to the second page, you can click in the body of the paper and just hit enter until you go down to page 2. And you can see, and I'm not certain why it didn't go in there correctly, because it generally always does. Oh, okay. To back up, you are going to have to put it in page 1 and page 2. And then once you actually get page 1 and page 2 set up, because the header is going to be different on page 1 than it is page 2. Once you set up your header for page 1, your title page, and then the body of your page, then it's going to follow for each of the pages that follow. So determining on how many pages your paper is going to be, then I'll consistently be in. So let's put in the body of your paper. So now we're going to move on to page 3 of the example paper. And now you're just going to put in cap locks what the title is going to be. So I'm going to put that in. Right. It's only on the first page. So I put the title in. Now I'm going to tab over one time. I'm going to press Control F9. I'm going to type in the word page. And I'm going to right click on it. And I'm going to left click update field. So now if I double click in the main part of the page, you can see page 1 has running head and page 2 has the title of the paper. Now to test it, I'm going to hit enter to page 3, and the title and the page number should be there, and that will follow throughout. Do you want me to go over that one more time, or does anyone have any questions? You have a question?
I can't get a second page.
You can't get a second page? Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do it one more time. Here's a blank document. This is a brand new document. This is a blank document. So I had a question in New Richmond. They asked, do I choose a blank document? Yes. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to double click on Word. You're going to go into a new blank document. Once you do that, you need to change your font. So you're going to click down on the font tab. You're going to type in Times New Roman. You're going to choose 12 point for the size. You're going to click Set as Default. And you're gonna leave it for this document only. You're gonna click OK. Now you're gonna set up your page layout. You want to make sure that your margins are set for 1 inch all the way around. As you can see, by default, they are currently set as that, so we're good. Now we are going to set up our paragraph settings. Remember, we want to select don't add space between paragraph of the same style, so we will click on there. We will make sure that our line spacing is double. We click OK. And now we want to make sure that we're going to left line our text. Click on View. and make sure that our ruler is selected. Once we select the ruler, now we're going to double click in the header. We're going to select different on first page because the running head on the title is going to be different than the main body. So we're going to select that. We're going to go back to home, left align, and then type in our title. Colon. And I'm going to hit the tab button one time. My shortcut key, Control F9 for the page number. Type the word page. Now right click on it. And then choose Update Field. And now place the page number in the appropriate area. To actually leave the header area, double click on the main body of the page. Now hit enter. Down to page 2. Double click in the header area. Go back to the home tab. Left align. Type in your title without the words running head, all capitalized. It's spelled incorrectly. Tab over. Then we're going to hit Control F9. Type in the word page. Right click. And then left click for update field. How did everyone do? Good? Okay. So once you get that in, you will be home free. One thing that I would like to go over is how to create a hanging indent. Because at the end of your paper, when you actually create your reference page, your references will have a hanging indent. Okay? So what I'm going to do is on page 2, let's just do a mock reference page. So I'm going to double click to get out of the header. And on page 9 of the example page from OWL, you can see that they have 4 references listed. So I'm just going to type in the first one. But before I'm going to do that is I'm going to make sure that I have a hanging indent ready. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to click on the drop down arrow in the paragraph tab. And you can see under indentation, there's an icon tag that says special. What you want to do is you want to click on that arrow, and the second option down is hanging. So if you click on that and click OK, it will automatically put in a hanging indent for you. So then it'll just basically do a word wrap and the information will be formatted correctly. Okay, so I'm going to type this one in so you can see that. There's lots of details, but like Adam mentioned before, we have a great site and a great reference sheet, and if you need help, you can come and talk to either person in your LRC or ETC. Yes, Kelly? Yes, sorry. Okay, there's lots of detail here, so I want to make sure I'm doing this right.
I will just quickly mention the first video on the training guides page goes watch that video, you can pause and replay it if you need to get your paper set up. Again, it's a lot easier to do this setup now than to go back later, but we can always help you as long as you have everything typed out.
Any questions so far? Any comments? On the reference sheet, the example, you want to make sure that parts of your reference is going to be indented or italicized, excuse me. So you want to make sure that you use these buttons right here in your font tabs. So that's how you do that. So that's an example of a hanging indent. So again, to reiterate, the process of doing that is you're going to click on the paragraph tab, advanced menu. You're going to see right here in the middle of the paragraph menu here is the indentation. Under special, you want to click on hanging. And that automatically sets that up, and then click OK. Any other questions? Okay. Adam, is there anything else that you want to cover or go over? Or?
No, I think that's quite a bit of information.
It's a lot of
once.
information. Oh, should we tell them that we have this located in the library?
Go ahead. Okay.
We actually have the APA manual located hardcover in the LRC, and I actually have a copy in the ETC. So if there's something that we get stumped on, APA can be quite extensive and detailed. We have the manual located in both departments, so we
and
have
every
resources.
campus has one in the Learning Resource Center, at least one.
Did everybody get a running head and a page number placed in their paper? Good. Yes, Kelly. Oh, in text citation? Okay.
More than what we talked about at the beginning of the workshop?
Do you want to show them the example where the in-text citation is again?
I can.
Okay.
Sure.
If in the paragraph I'm giving reference to Smith and
Mm-hmm.
Yep. To see how it goes from paper to reference page.
Okay. We had a question about citations here in Richmond. So I'm just going to go back to the APA guide that's on the website. If you guys want, you can follow along, or you can just watch our content screen here. I'm going to click on Citations. And we had a question about in-text citations. So I'm just going to show you at the top here again. While you're actually typing the main body of your paper, you're going to be talking about the information that you read about for your research. And you have to give credit to source right as you give their information. And that's where this in-text citation is from. Like I mentioned, if you're talking about you went to Adam's awesome workshop and you learned all about APA, then you just have to have the year after the person's name. Now, if you're referring to the workshop and it's a part that I talked about or that Tina talked about, we each need our own citations. Even though it's one workshop, it's two different sources of information. So the citation will be the exact same, but you'll have our name, then you'll have a comma, and then you'll have the year. If you mention us by name in the sentence, like I said, if you mention Adam Nelson talked about this or Tina Nygren talked about that, then you just have to have the year in parentheses. Now the reason why you have to have our name in the year is so that someone can go to the references page and they can say, oh, there's Nelson, there's Adam, and then there's the year 2012, and then they have the full citation there. So if you're referencing a book, they can look up the author's name, the year, and then they have the title of the book, who published it, the name of the chapter, and everything. So if someone wants to follow up with what you mentioned, if it sounds really cool, they can find the source themselves and they can read up on everything.
We'll look too about a personal interview. Do you have an example of that on the...
I don't. So that's the point of what the citation is for and what the reference page is for. If you submit this to your instructor as well, they're going to need to be able to find your resources so they can check to make sure that it's a reliable source. I mean, if you quote somebody from a blog site, you don't know if they should really be talking about what they're complaining about on a blog site. This is just a way to show the credentials for your sources and let other people look them up if they want to read it for themselves.
And one formatting rule, make sure that the parenthesis is before the period.
Yep.
The period never goes inside the parenthesis.
And the point of that is at the end of a sentence, you'll have a parenthesis, Nelson, comma, 2012, parentheses, period. And that's to let your reader know that that citation is for everything that's before the period. Something that Tina just mentioned, I don't have an example of what's called a personal communication, such as if you email somebody and they email you back, if you give them a phone call and you interview them, there isn't a reference page citation for that. That's why I don't have an example of it. That's something you just mentioned in your paper. So you have an in-text citation and you have to mention the person and give their credentials in the actual paragraph. So let's say you emailed me or Tina and asking about APA and then you wrote a paper about it. You would say, well, in an email correspondence with Adam Nelson or Tina Nygren, I asked these questions, I got these answers. But you don't have to create a reference page for it because that's not any information that someone can go back and look up, because it's a communication you did yourself. Because you took an interview, because you did email, it's not available for anyone else, you don't have a citation on your reference page.
And there is an example on OWL Purdue's
Yep.
site on that. So if you did need further assistance, we can get you to that example. Any other questions? I know it's a lot of information. Don't feel overwhelmed. We're here to help. We have a lot of great resources, lots of good examples. The handout really helps a lot of students. So if you're a person that likes hard copy, print it out, stick it in your binder, take it with you, look it over. Okay? Well, thank you very much for your time.
If you have any other questions, you can stop into the Learning Resource Center or the Educational Technology Center.